Let's go through our announcements. Anybody have any wants or needs or gratitudes they want to talk about? I'll just say I'm so grateful. My twin sister was really sick with COVID this week, and I was able to go help her and get some IV treatments and stuff like that. And I'm so grateful that she's doing better. And I'm so grateful for all the people that reached out to me and said thank you. Asked if we were okay. And so I'm so grateful for that. Anybody else have any gratitudes or buyers or sellers or any wants and needs they want to talk about? Unmute yourself now, please.
Jen, that for the app for the earnest money, it did come in within 24 hours, just so you know.
Okay, good.
So, that's good.
Thank you for letting me know that. That is something where it's a new thing. We're going to learn a lot as we go, but so far a lot of people are using it, so we're super excited about that. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we do have a new app called Earnest that if you want your clients to digitally send their earnest money in, they can. You just log in, send them a link with how much they're supposed to send. And then when you're done, this is the part that some of the agents have not figured out yet. You can go in and download a certificate like a earnest money receipt and upload that into your site. Okay. Okay. Any thoughts or questions in that? Anything else? Gratitudes? Give everyone an opportunity to feel grateful today, because as ninjas, we know gratitude makes your day a lot better. Okay, I'm gonna move on. All right, let's talk about our broker moment. Just a reminder, when you move to a new address, and right now a lot of agents are doing that because our values have gone up so high, you have 10 days to notify the division of your new address. We also require the exact same thing here, as we have offered a cookie. If you've read the Code of Ethics, a free cookie. We've had a few people say, oh, you don't have my new address. You need to make sure that when the division requires it, we require it as well. So 10 days to the division. Otherwise, you could be fined at the division and 10 days to us. So if you change your address, let us know, please. Let Casey know at the front desk. Okay. Upcoming classes for the week. Looks like 4 hours of CE. And tomorrow we are teaching CE, and that is property taxes, the good, the bad, and the ugly from First American Title. Okay, let's talk about our closers of the week. 55 closings last week. Holy moly, that is quite a bit, you guys. Good job. We had quite a few multiples there as well. It looks like Beverly Hollander's on, and she had a closing. Congratulations, Beverly. Let's see. I think I saw one for Sierra too. Let's see, am I missing anybody else? Judy Beltran, she's on. Congratulations, Judy. That's amazing. I think that's it. If I've missed you, scream your name right now. Okay, congratulations, you guys. Let's talk about announcements real quick. We are doing a coat drive in the Pleasant Grove office, and that is through Edge Homes. So if you have a coat, the dates are from 2 days ago through December 11th. Please bring in your coats. They are going to help kids and people stay warm through the winter. So please bring those in. We have a huge box here, so hopefully you have more than one coat that you can bring in. Also, we are doing headshots in the Pleasant Grove office on the 10th. You will need to let Chelsea know if you want to reserve a spot. So please come in, get a new headshot if you'd like. And then let's go to our affiliates. Is Jack Andrews on? Didn't think I saw him on. Okay, Amy Corcoran at White Knight.
Oops. There we go. I unmuted. Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Congratulations to all the closers. That is awesome. Just wanted to remind you, we have had a lot of requests for cabins. It's a big thing right now with the real estate market the way it is. And White Knight insures cabins. These are usually protection class 10, which means they're high risk. And we have an awesome market for them. It's really simple and it's a very competitive market. So if you have any clients that are purchasing cabins in like Colville or up in Uintas, we have an option for them. So thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate that. Okay, and I do not see anybody from Home Warranty of America on as well. So let's see, Steve Haycock is not in, and Paul is not in from Luneta, but Braxton is teaching the class from Luneta. So we are going to turn the time over to Braxton. He's going to be teaching us about our new amazing program called Homebot. So Braxton, go right ahead.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen. Let me go ahead and share my screen really quick. Okay, so going into this tool, the biggest thing for me at least is I use this to get more referrals, and I get a lot of repeat business about this. So it's basically a tool that I use personally, and I actually have all of our loan officers use it. And we've had some really good feedback from agents that have started using it as well. I'm sure you guys have seen some stuff like I know Evie, for example, she got like 2 listing appointments in like her first month using this. And so it's not to replace like what you're currently doing, but if you're not doing anything to follow up with your SOI or previous clients, then the very first thing you should do is this. Okay, that's the best way to think about it. It's not a CRM, it's not a do-it-all type thing for you, but for me it is, because I'm lazy and I just have too much to worry about. And so this is the best place to put my clients that I get the highest conversion out of it. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so I want to start off with some statistics from the NAR. So on the buy side, okay, 88% of buyers, 88% of buyers used an agent. Okay, 91% of buyers would use their agent again or would recommend to others. Okay, however, only 13% actually used an agent that they already worked with, and then only 40% found their agent through a referral. Okay, so you have 88 and 91% compared to 13 and 40%. So there's a huge gap here. Okay, so the goal of Homebot is to close this gap for you guys, because there's a lot of things left on your table, right? And so I know, for example, Jen started using Homebot as well, and she had a bunch of clients start adding in other properties she did not know about. Okay, so we need to fix that. So we want to make sure that you're getting that repeat business over and over. And talking about repeat business, the median income for repeat buyers is $27,000 higher than that of a first-time home buyer. Okay, so not only are you getting repeat deals, but those people that are buying again, they're buying for more, right? And so you're actually getting more commissions, higher purchase prices, and obviously the sale out of it as well if they end up selling. So that's kind of where what we're shooting for. The first time home buyers, they were actually down 2% in 2020. I think that was actually a little bit worse in 2021. I'm gonna go ahead and update all these statistics next year, but that's just kind of what I've seen in the market. On the sale side, so 41% of those who sold used an agent, or of those who used an agent found their agents through a referral by friends or family. 26% used an agent they previously worked with. Okay. Now, of those, 74% that actually sold would definitely use the same agent again. Okay. So again, a huge gap in these numbers. And then 27% of those actually did recommend their agent 4 or more times. However, the median only recommended once. Okay. So this basically, what that last statistic means for me is that you always have this range, right? You have this range of people who they will, they'll refer everybody under the sun, right? If you're missing that piece, right? That's a quarter of clients essentially are recommending you guys 4 times or more. If you're missing that opportunity, we have to find a way to maximize that. Okay. The other thing is I'd like to get this median higher. It basically means that over 50% of people never recommend everybody or anybody at all, right? So we want to, again, bridge that gap. So what Homebot does is it helps you maximize your repeat and referral business, okay? So everything that we do here at Luneta, it's all about building relationships, not just transactions, okay? And it relates directly to real estate as well, okay? I'm sure anybody here who's built a business based on referrals, they can tell you it's way better than leads. And so if you can really maximize those referrals, that's really where the money's at, right? And you can help more people that way. So what Homebot does, the biggest thing for me is it's an education piece for buyers and homeowners. And it kind of gives you like calculators on how to build wealth and, you know, what happens if you start renting out a room out on Airbnb? What happens if, you know, what does the rental market look like? What happens if I pay an extra $200 towards my mortgage every single month, right? A lot of that information that buyers are looking for and owners are looking for that they, you know, they might ask you guys about, and you know, you really don't know the answer to. It's in Homebot. Okay, so the other item is staying top of mind with past clients and current prospects. So that's, again, I don't think this is a one-stop shop for everything you should be doing, but if you're doing nothing, Homebot is the best one thing you should do. Okay, and it's the easiest thing to plug into. And then the other cool thing is there's ways to like share links and get additional data either through social media or like sharing there's like a little branded landing page you can share out to people as well, to capture, you know, more information on either buyers or people who currently own a home from like open houses, for example. Okay, so on what this actually looks like, okay, this is really what you guys care about. So let me log into my email really quick. Back when I was setting this up, I actually tested this out with one of my buddies back in the day. Okay, so I'll just, so I don't have to search through it. It's thinking. There we go. Okay, so this is what the email comes through as. Okay. So I have it set up through a guy named Steve. So, and his is set up on mine. We just basically playing around with that. So it comes through, it says your home report has been updated for your property address. Okay. And it looks like it's coming from Steve. Okay. So I click on that pretty much every single time. Okay. And it's just a quick little email. Your new home value estimate is ready. You just click see your value, and then either your information or whoever you're signed up through, right? So if you signed up through, let's say Jen, for example, on your own personal account, you would see Jen's information right here. Okay. I just, again, I'm on the loan side, so I'd signed up through a loan officer just because we were testing it out. So all you do, you just hit see your value. And then it opens up this whole link and like basically just a whole PDF about your loan. Okay. So at the very top, here's, you know, here's just a little splurb. You can actually customize this with what you want it to say, but this is branded to you, okay? And then it'll say, you know, what your actual home value estimate is. If your client wants to actually hop in here and tune their value, okay, they can go in and do this. If they think it's wrong, you know, if I think it's worth more, then I can go ahead and reach out to Steve from here and ask him to, you know, bump up my value, for example, okay? The cool thing is that it just tracks it over time. So I recently played around with this and I actually lowered it myself, but I could go in here and if I wanted to, let's see here, I want to go in here and let's just say I want to use 570, for example. I can go in here and start adding how many bedrooms I have, you know, how many baths, if I want to add, you know, what my square footage is, if I finish my basement, redid my kitchen. So they can actually go in here and update all of these features, because the reality is, like, it's not perfect. It's a software, right? It's not perfect. And the nice thing is on your end, you can actually tune this value as well. Okay, just before anything even goes out. So it's really slick how this works. It'll say, okay, my zip code is in high demand, but it's actually pulling off, right? If that's accurate, maybe it's not. But it's giving clients information. So it gives you a little graph. So, and there's a lot of random little videos through here as well. So it's kind of slick. And then it shows what the net worth of their home is. They can actually input their mortgage information, okay, if they want to, add other mortgages, that kind of stuff. Then it'll show you, you know, or show me in this case, you know, how much have I paid towards principal, how much towards interest, right? How much, you know, what happens if I did a refinance? What happens if I paid an extra $450 a month to principal? I'd save $50,000. That sounds great to me, right? So it gives them a ton of information about this, okay? And it's loading here. I think something's up with my Wi-Fi today. It'll also show them, okay, if I rented my house on Airbnb, how much could I make, right? So it'll give you like an idea of like what a nightly rate would look like, number of nights, all that fun stuff. Okay. So there's literally just a ton of information about their home in this. Okay. So this is actually the homeowner's end. Okay. And again, you're at the very bottom would actually be like whoever you're co-branded with. So let's say if I had you sign up with my link, for example, I'd be branded here at the very bottom, but that's it. That's basically just for like RESPA purposes. So that's the homeowner side. On the market side or the buyer side, okay. So if I wanted to hop in here and start exploring, what markets are hot, where I should be looking, it'll actually give you this whole calculator here, or not calculator, but just map of the area. Okay. And it says, okay, what areas are hot, what areas are cooling off. So if I'm a savvy buyer and I'm like, well, I don't want to buy in an overheated market, maybe I'll start looking at South Jordan. That's cooled off a little bit. Or maybe I want to buy out in, what's that, Copperville, right? Copperville's not a great example, but but it's cool because they can start playing around with this. And if I wanted to look at, let's say, Sandy, up in Cottonwood Heights area, and I have it based on 550, I can actually go ahead and adjust my price point if I want to. And the other cool thing is Steve actually hasn't activated this feature yet, but right here, it'll normally actually have, if you activate the feature, it'll actually start showing you homes that are on the MLS. So they can actually start looking at homes within your own Homebot. So instead of going to Zillow or Realtor.com and getting picked off, right, they can actually see it in here. So a lot of times they actually start looking at houses before they've even thought about moving, just because they're playing around with this. Okay. And that's really the goal at the end of the day. Is we want you to be pointed as the expert. Anytime they think about doing anything with their house, we want you to be top of mind. Okay. Gives you a lot more information about this market. Again, you guys can play around with this. It's really slick though. The other nice thing is, how long could it take to buy? It's very conservative, right? Because they want them to get started sooner than later, to start talking to you right now, rather than in 3 months when they're on Zillow and they decide that, oh, actually I want to buy a house today, right? So again, everything's about keeping you guys in front of the clients and out of other places where you lose clients, right? So does anybody have any questions so far? Sorry, I always remember I go a little bit too fast on this stuff. So I'm going to take a quick break and just see if anybody has any questions on this.
I have a question. What about outside of Utah? If you wanted to send this to some of your contacts in Missouri or California or whatever, how does that work?
So it's anytime you add in any sort of address. So if I actually wanted to add a house, I could do, I don't know foreign addresses, but yeah, I mean, I could search somewhere in, let's say, Plano, Texas, right? It's not going to pull up, but yeah, I mean, I could pull up an address in one of these, another state, and it'll pull that value. So it is a nationwide calculator.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Is that it? Any other questions? Else I'll just keep going into the buyer's report. All right, I'll just keep going. But yeah, just pause me if anybody has any questions. So then if I go into the buyer's report, okay, so it actually gives me an analysis based on the market that I've set. Okay. So if I say, Steve, I really like South Jordan, I like Riverton, and I like Bluffdale, right? Can you send me information about those areas? It'll actually start telling me some information about, okay, what's the market temperature? It's a 94, right? I can add in, I can add in additional favorites that I want to be watching, how long it's going to take. At this 533 price point, this is what square footage I could get. Okay, I can go in here and I can change this value that I'm looking at. So maybe I want to look at a $900,000 house, right? And it will ask, okay, do I need to get pre-qualified for that? It wants to make sure that, they're getting in touch with us whenever it's logical. But now I can see, okay, well now it's going to be almost 5,000 square feet. That's more what I'm looking for. And it'll take about 100 days. Cool, the market's a little bit cooler because it's a little bit more expensive. Then I can explore those markets again. And you'd have your information here about, if I wanted to ask Steve in this case, what areas I want to be looking for, or new construction, that kind of stuff. Okay. So it'll prompt them to start asking me questions. And so again, just a ton of information, about, it's not perfect on current interest rates. It's a little bit conservative. All the numbers on here are going to be a little bit conservative. Okay. And that's pretty much the client side. Okay. Now I'm going to go into the homeowner side. So I actually just have to log in on my account. Okay. So in the last 30 days, and this has actually dropped a little bit because I think it just barely sent out a blast like last night. So this is actually usually a little bit higher. But so over the last 30 days, you can actually monitor your performance. Okay. So of the homeowner sends that I've sent out 263 in the last 30 days. Of those, 191 have actually opened up the email. So it's a 72% open rate, which is crazy high for like email marketing, right? Extremely high. On people who actually go in and look at that home value and start playing around with it, 46% do, which again, extremely high. Okay. On the buyer side, surprisingly, a lot of these actually open up. I just basically send these out to clients who get pre-approved and then they just kind of drop off the face of the planet. I just throw them in here just to see what happens. And of the 26 that go out, like 61% are still actually looking at houses. Okay. Or actually clicking that before actually playing around with the markets. Okay. So it's kind of cool because then I can go through and I can say, oh, well, Jerem just barely viewed his home, right? Should I reach out to him? Okay, maybe not, just close his house, right? But let's say Tracy, for example, she looked at her home's market. She's been in her house for 5 years. I just know that, right? So maybe I should reach out to her about maybe doing CMA, right? Because she's interested in her house right now. She's playing with it literally last night. So I can start going through here and figuring out, who's actually being active, who needs what, if anybody's actually looking at buying a home. So you can go through here and see, who might need a quick text, right? And just see if they need anything, right? Just making sure you're, staying in front of them. So that's the other cool thing is you can go through there. And I think, yeah. So that's basically like the metrics and like the activity monitor. You can go through here, and if I wanted to say, let's say I wanted to change, who do I want to change? Where's a good one? Let's say Braden. I actually talked to him last night, so that's fine. Let's say Braden, his house, is a small single family in Harriman. I actually think this is probably closer to, let's say 530, for example. Okay, so I'll give him a range. I can go ahead and save this. And you guys can do this on every single client. So if I did not agree with a certain value, I can go ahead and update this information. I can update his, bedrooms, bathrooms, the square footage, all that fun stuff. Okay. And you can see all of the activity for Braden specifically as you go through here, right? Like he's been looking at every single one for the last, year, right? So he's been doing pretty good on this. So, and oddly enough, he actually reached out to me last night. So, yeah, I'm talking with him right now. He might be buying a new house. So that's just kind of the stuff that we look at. So, but it's cool because yes, where this gets the data for the home valuation, it's not perfect. Okay. So it's kind of like his estimate, but a little bit more conservative. Okay. It is a nationwide aggregator and they follow these metrics for like appreciation rates in certain areas. So again, it's nice because if it's off, you just go in here and tune the value, and then it'll start basing that value off the appreciation in the area from then on. Okay. So it's pretty slick how that works. Okay. So That's the homeowner side. If they decide to, let's say they tune that value, it'll actually reach out to you to put in a CMA, okay? To basically reach out and make sure they know what it's worth. Then on the buyer side, you can see, you know, who's signed up for it. So if I want to look at Beasley, for example, you know, I could go in here, see what price point he has, see the last time it's sent. If I wanted to actually add like a pre-qualification, that's on the lender side, but then you guys can see that I pre-qualified them. And you can actually preview what reports are going out. So again, it's supposed to give you a lot of information about what these people are actually looking at so you can help them best. Then you can also do like any specific leads. So you can, you know, like, okay, Alexis actually found me through a link that I shared on social media, right? Or, you know, maybe I put a link on my, you know, if I have a website, I can actually embed a link on there as well. Okay. So it's pretty slick as far as like how you can manage your database through here. Again, it's not really a CRM unless, like, I don't know. I would still keep either Excel or some other type of CRM. I wouldn't use this as your end all be all for everything, because everything's centralized around what Homebot does, which is send out this information to your clients. Okay. If I have any issues, sometimes I'll have issues with like new construction, or if somebody like unsubscribes. I think I've only had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people unsubscribe, 10, 11. Yeah, so a little bit less than about 2% for what I've actually inputted in there, which is very low. And the other cool thing is you can actually add clients in bulk. Okay, so if you have like an Excel sheet with all of your clients, you can actually just upload those into Homebot, and it takes like 4 or 5 days, I think, for them to actually drop into your account. But once that's done, it'll just start emailing out every single month. Okay. And the last thing that I really wanted to show you guys is in this customize page, you can actually start sending out these videos in every single email. So they can see, so let's say if you sent out the first one, okay, and you just recorded a quick video of yourself and said, hey, this is what Homebot is. This is what it's going to do. I really like it. Let me know if you have any questions, right? That way it's not as cold, it's not as robotic. So I'd recommend setting this up. It'll boost your conversion. I don't actually use it because, again, I'm lazy. I need to get a little bit better at that. But it's something that's nice to have so that you still have that personalized touch as well. So again, you guys are the expert and everything is pointing towards you. Okay. So I think those are mainly the biggest. I mean, again, they have like other power ups. If you use BombBomb, you can use that.
Can I touch on what you just barely said about how to present it?
Sorry.
Can I touch on what you just said about the videos?
Yep.
So we were actually talking about this yesterday, Braxton and I. I think that the video is the best way to do it because it will prevent you from not getting it done. But it's always good to call them and tell them what it is too. So what I'd probably do if I were you, I'd do a video explaining what it is, why you're excited about it. And then I would make a goal to call several clients a day until you've spoken with each of them. It's just a little different conversation. Instead of, hey, I'm going to send this to you, it's, hey, did you get that Homebot thing I sent out? Here's what it is. You know, the video should say, don't get overexcited or don't get overly depressed about the value. If you want an accurate value in there, give me a call. I'll do a comparative market analysis. But yeah, in the call, I'd say the same thing. You know, the values, you know, it's automatically generated, but I would love to do a market analysis to get it more accurate. Don't worry, it doesn't take me a lot of time. I'm happy to do it if you'd like me to. And then you can kind of do more than you would in a video, because you don't want videos to be super long. So you could say, hey, this is some of the tools. This is why I like opening it every month and what you can use it for, and then just walk them through it. It's great because you'll also find out if they really want it, how much they value the professional relationship based on their reaction to the phone call. So it can tell you a lot of things that are good to know, because one thing I hate doing is spending a ton of time marketing and working on a relationship that turns out to not be that great. So I definitely recommend you make that call as well as do the video. Just my 2 cents from the peanut gallery.
Awesome. Again, I'm lazy. I don't do any of that, but also that's probably why my conversion rates dropped over the last month. So
busy, not lazy. Come on,
Busy,
give yourself
yeah.
some credit.
Exactly. So cool. So that's kind of what Homebot looks like on this side. If you want to, share on, if you want to embed something on, let's say your website, for example, you can embed like a little widget. If you want to share it on social media, there's a way to do that. And then the other option is, here's just a link to a landing page where they can sign up with it. And what that looks like, I guess I just like this preview page. Yeah. So here's my info. I just throw in my address. It's not on here, but if I hit this Missouri address, for example, it'll give me some value. And then it'll lock kind of some of the other features. And so that's where I have to put in my email address to get those advanced features. Okay. So, and that's just if you share the link specifically. So pretty slick. And as far as everything else goes, I think I hit on those. So there's a few ways to like prospect this or use it for prospecting. Having that link or a way to share it at open houses, you can just, it's a really good way to gather people's information while still giving them something valuable, right? So it's, you pitch it and you say, hey, I have this tool that like helps you search for homes. Actually, it gives you an idea of like what markets are hot, what, how much you can afford, all that fun stuff. You can share it that way, and then you get their information. You can share it on social media. Some agents have actually been successful with this. I have not, but I'm not great on social media. So if if you're doing really well with your social media accounts, you can do that. Then you can again embed that widget on your on a website that you have. And then as far as like pricing goes, so there's like two options. So you have there's like a freemium version, which is basically just homeowners. That's the only option in there is the homeowners only. And it's free actually. So free up to the first 25 clients you put in there. Anything over that, it's $25 a month. And then we actually have a code to waive the setup fee. And you have up to 500 clients you can throw in there. Okay. The caveat to it is you actually have to sign up through a lender. That's one of the pieces is that we actually pay for a good chunk of the fee ourselves. So when somebody signs up, I actually pay like $200 a month for mine, and it's paid for itself for probably the next 80 years, right? Like literally it has. It's even at $200 a month, like I've made that much money off of it. And so with you tagging onto it, it increased. So I think I pay an extra $25 and then you pay an extra $25. And how that works is it's basically so that we can both be branded on there. But the majority of what we're actually paying is done by the lender. Anything comparable to Homebot that I've seen that doesn't require a lender is close to $200 or $300 every single month. Okay, so it's meant to give you guys a really strong tool with giving your clients access to you and keeping you top of mind. And then if they do have questions about a loan, they can actually reach out directly to us, right? We actually don't get a ton of people that do that. Most of the time, people are just looking at new markets or they're wanting to verify their, the value of their home. That's typically what we see, and they just reach out directly to you for that. So if they click any of those buttons, it'll actually just email you directly to then respond or call them, right? And I think that is pretty much about it with Homebot. So does anybody have more questions on this? Demos, uploading clients, anything like that, or how to get set up?
I just had a quick comment while people are thinking it over. I used to pay $200 a year for a company to do a drip campaign for me. They did a little bit of Google optimization that I literally never got a phone call from. So it was essentially for a drip campaign. I was paying $200 a year for my 300 names. $25, this is like by far the best deal I've ever seen for a drip campaign. And with the open rate that it has, I would recommend everybody at least seriously consider it. But literally that's going to lunch one less time per month. And you can have 500 people get this email from you every month. It takes care of your set it and forget it. You don't need to worry about, oh, that guilty moment where you're like, I need to set that up. I need to be in touch with my SOI more. You know, every single month you've got that automatic thing going out. And the best part for me is they enjoy getting it. That was my biggest concern with mailers and with anything follow-up wise. I'm like, do they even want this? Because I don't want to be that guy, right? But when 74% of Braxton's people open it last month, it shows that they're enjoying getting it. And if they're not opening it, it's either because they're busy or they just don't understand what it is yet. But I don't think I've ever heard of somebody not liking receiving Homebot about their house. So really, if you're on the fence, please jump off on the right side, because this is well worth the money and it's something that you need if you don't have a drip campaign.
And again, it's, you know, if you want to test it out first and just see how it works, and if it's good conversion, or if you just want to try 10 people out and see if they actually do like it, then just get set up on the free version, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
start
You can
playing
just
around.
you can just do your most recent closings. Just put on your 25 most recent buyers and call them and see how they like it.
I don't know what response you and Jen have gotten with your clients that are in there, but like when I first put my clients in there, I think the first month, because it'll like stagger things. So I put in like 250 clients of mine just off the bat, right? Of those, how did that work? So they'll stagger it, like every 7 days, they'll send out another chunk. So they'll send out like 50 or 60 at a time, just so that you don't get overwhelmed with requests. And so I think during that first like 4-week period, I had probably 40 or 50 of those 250 like just respond to the email, and they just said, this is super cool, thanks for sending this out. Right. So I had a really good response. I don't know about you guys, but that was my initial feedback. I don't really have a lot of people like respond after that first month as far as like, this is really cool, thanks for sending it. At that point, it's pretty much automatic, and they only reach out if they need something.
Yeah, I've had the same thing. I've had a few people respond and say, this is so cool. What a cool program. Because they just love playing around with it and seeing the values. Obviously, everybody wants to know the value of their home. And I had one client that they had bought a house from me a long time ago, but when they decided to move to Vernal, they decided to use a different realtor. And I was kind of like, whatever. I kept him in my database. And he requested a CMA on his Vernal home the other day from me through Homebot. And so again, I'm tying him back to me. I'm giving him a value. He's like, thanks so much, Jen. This is so cool. So it is just one more thing that makes us top of mind in front of them and giving them the value.
Awesome. Yeah. That's basically been my experience too. So it's it's awesome to see that, you know, other people are having success with it. And it's one of those things where like I can't necessarily give you a like, okay, if you put in 100 names, are you going to get 2 deals out of it? There's no real way to know that, because everybody's SOI is a little bit different. Mine is a lot of first-time home buyers, right? That's just kind of my demographic and, you know, the client base that I've gone after. And so, you know, I've had really good success with it. Have I had a lot of people move? No, because most of them bought a year ago or 2 years ago. It's probably going to start really paying itself off over the next 5 years when people start to buy more houses, right? So you also have to kind of look at, okay, what's your demographic? And is this somebody who might share this information, right? So for example, if you work with a lot of like tech savvy buyers like I have, they'll actually share the Homebot link to their friends and family. And so I've actually picked up a few additional clients through that. So it's just kind of slick, again, keeping yourself top of mind. So.
Thanks, Braxton. This is awesome. And did you already tell people how to get started on the free version? I assume they just put their name in the chat box and we'll have someone reach out to them. Is that the idea?
Let's do this. So I'll actually put in, if you either want to email Jen or myself, we will, so since you have to sign up through a loan officer directly, what we'll do is we'll actually just basically pair you off with a certain loan officer who, might, that might work really well with you and your client base. And so that way, if they do reach out, I want to make sure that it's somebody who like meshes with who your clients are. So I'm not, if you have like a lot of like really high end clients, I'm not going to match you up with like a brand new loan officer, right? And so we'll make sure we kind of dial that in. So that way, like I want to make sure we're not just setting everybody up with one specific loan officer, because that way they're not getting like personalized service down the road if that's what they need, right? So that's probably going to be the best way to set that up.
And that's how you get the discount for the setup code?
Yeah, well, the discount for the setup code, I'll also put that in the chat. It's just 50 off, okay? Every loan officer should know that as well. When they send over the sign up link, they should also be sending that 50 off code as well. I just threw it in the chat as well. So if you want to screenshot it or whatever you need to do. But yeah, it'll be completely free when you sign up if you just do the free version. And then if you want to do the paid version, it just saves you $50. So.
All right, so no more questions from anybody? Okay, well, we're so glad everyone was on today, and I hope you take advantage of these great tools that we try to provide you. And we're so grateful to Luneta for providing this for us so that we can keep in contact with our clients. This is one of the best programs I have seen in 17 years of doing real estate. So to have clients that I haven't talked to in 6 or 7 years reach out to me and say, this is awesome, is invaluable to my business, because it opens the door for me to communicate with them. So I hope you all hop on board and get this program or software, whatever you want to call it, from Luneta, and let them know how grateful you are that they're doing something like this for us. So thanks, you guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks all.